Yo, what's going on, everybody? Welcome. Goodness, can you tell I am trying to get this thrown together at the last second? Yes, you can. Welcome, everybody. Tusk Talk with Ty. It's you know it as the we change names with it all the time. It's usually the Monday after show or the Monday after live show. Today it's the aftermath. That's what we're calling this, and it almost seems a little I don't know. Strange that we have to have this conversation. Let me turn this microphone up. I don't know if you guys can hear how good that is. Do me a favor. Make sure you guys like, share, subscribe. If you'd be so kind. We have a special announcement. We've got a special announcement for you tonight. Also, if you call in and you're a Tusk Talk with Ty Discord member, you're going to get 15,000 XP. I'm going to give you the link here in just a second. 15,000 XP for you Tusk Talk Discord people. Listen, I'm also doing another thing. You've got an opportunity to get quite a bit of XP tonight, actually, and a shot at an autographed former Arkansas player card, which you won't know who it is. I might release it on Discord at a later date and time, but you're not going to know who it is until you get it in the mail. That's kind of what I want to do. I want to just send you this card. It's going to be a former Arkansas player. It's going to be autographed. But you got to be in Discord, right? So if you join Discord tonight, I'm going to give you an additional 10,000 XP. So boom, all you got to do, call in, right? If you're not a member, join. And right there, you just got yourself quite a bit of XP. That's 25,000 XP. You're right in the race, baby. We just started a new cycle. That puts you right smack dab in the race. So I'll give you the link here in a little bit. Who you going to get? Is it that time? God. 2 weeks ago, I would have said, no chance. However, I did say going into the Mississippi State game, everything is still on the table. Everything still has possible scenarios, has a place at the table for Sam Pittman's future. Because had he lost that game, you see how bad they are. I mean, we said it. Mississippi State's atrocious. Had Arkansas lost that game, all of a sudden, what happened with Tennessee doesn't matter. You just traded a really heinous, ugly, horrible loss for a really good win at home versus a top 5 team in the Tennessee Volunteers. So it just completely scrubs that out. But then you lose to LSU, which was, what the hell? We wanted competition. You wanted Arkansas to have a better game plan. You wanted better overall game management. You wanted better execution on the field. Guys, every time you lose, it is not solely on one person. We all know this. When you lose a game, it is not solely on a single person. It's on it's on multiple people. Coaching staff, players, the other team just being good. But it takes more than just one person to really, especially against a game like LSU. Now, you could argue, had that game been closer and maybe Taylon Green throws a pick at the end of the game, then, maybe that's a little bit different. But then you'd still have to look at what happened that led up to that interception that made that game so close to begin with. And there are probably still failures that had to have happened, right? Kind of like dominoes falling one at a time. So, but that wasn't the case. LSU frog stomped Arkansas. And then Ole Miss happens. There is no excuse. We called it on the post-game show. We were those post-game shows can get a little bit emotional. I'm still getting people in my comment section taking shots at me. Some of them are now deleting their comments. I had to, I don't ban people, but I came close to having to hide the channel from people. It was ugly. And what happens is everyone wants to fire in all directions. They want to blame the media for not asking tougher questions. They want to blame Chuck and Bo for not being angry, more angry. Everyone calls them paid U of A shills. I'm not saying that that's the case. If you've got beef with them, you've got beef with Chuck and Bo. I don't. I still like their show. Yeah, they're both close to the program. You can take that for whatever. And if you want to go into their chat and call them paid shills, I wouldn't personally. I think that's, not, I don't know. You should just be above that, right? Do me a favor. Make sure you guys like, share, subscribe. Hope it's safe up there, Ty. Yeah, so we had to hunker down for a little bit. We had to hunker down. We were in the bathroom for I don't know, a while. I had the girls in the bathtub. I tried to get our animals in there. They were freaked out. And so, eventually they got out. When I would leave the bathroom to walk outside to see what's going on. We got some high winds, some rain, and then it kind of passed over us. We're over on the east side of Springdale, so it wasn't as bad over here. I hope no one's, we've done this before. We've done a live show, and I'll have someone DM me, Ty, I literally just watched your show in the middle of the craziest weather. Please don't put yourself at risk. Keep an eye, or if you're going to watch me, at least have the weather channel or have Zach Hall, who's a storm chaser, have him up, see where he's at. By the way, bit of a heads up. The closer Zach Hall is to your town in bad weather situations, you might want to consider, I don't know, heading underground. It's never a good thing when Zach Hall is when he's within your 20-mile radius and he's chasing down storms. That's not a good thing. God bless Zachary Hall, man. I like that guy a lot. Does good work. Dan Scoff, of course, we had him up as well. So yeah, storms are crazy. We might have some more tonight. I don't know. I haven't actually got an update. I'll do that when I'm done here. So yeah, you guys make sure. I hope everyone's safe. I know south of Siloam got hit. Wasn't pretty. What's up, Philip? How you doing, man? Siloam was rough. Tornado went through here. Yeah, I saw that they had one. Well, see, my in-laws actually live in Tawnytown. They live on the edge in between Siloam and Tawnytown. And that's right where one of those cells went over. And fortunately, they're doing okay. Last I heard, they were doing all right. Make sure you guys like, share, subscribe. We do have a surprise. We have something I'm going to share with you. And but before we do that, shout out to Direct Service Overhead, the garage door company. Same-day services, quality parts, affordable outcomes. Better than best results. Quality parts, free estimates. They do it all for you. 501-244-3667. Again, that's Direct Service Overhead, the garage door company. They operate out of Central Arkansas and in Northwest Arkansas. Okay. Let me get the link out. Here's the link for the here's the link. Well, someone called me by my full name in chat. I don't see that very often. Here's the call-in link. I know you're probably still frustrated. Let it out, brother or ma'am. Let it out. That's what the link's for. Tell me. Maybe you disagree with me on something. Maybe you agree with me on something. Maybe you're still pissed and you want to you want to let off some steam. Maybe you just have a question. Hopefully I can answer it. All right. So again, there's that link for you. Here we go. Make sure I click the right one here. Here we go. It's just about a minute long. Enjoy. 3, 2, 1, yo! I'm doing a live show with Travis Ford and Tim Neal, formerly of Don't Read the Comments podcast. We're going to do a live show. Now, I think we're going to do Thursday nights. We're going to cover all the SEC. We're going to talk about it all. Basketball, football, probably dabble in a little bit of baseball. Looking forward to it. I think we're going to get our first recording in this Thursday night. So hope you guys enjoy it. Yeah. So, and they're probably going to be like an hour long. They're going to be live. I don't know. Travis is in chat. We might even do call-ins. I don't know, man. Looking forward to it. All right. We've got folks lining up here. We've already got 3 people on the line. Let's bring in, first of all, you know him. You know who he is. It's Mr. Brim, if he's there. What's going on, man?
Mediocre Brim is in the building.
Mediocre
Brim.
What's going on?
Enjoying my off day, licking my wounds from this weekend. Every single team that I root for lost, from professional to college.
Ouch.
Yeah, really when it comes down to, the football team, to lose in the fashion that we lost, it just ain't acceptable, man. I mean, we done lost by 30 plus points 3 times in less than 2 years at home. I mean, I'm sorry, but I can't get behind that. I can't sit here and say, "Oh, I'm so excited about the future because, we're in some games, but we'll lose by 30 plus at home to another game." And I get tired of hearing people talk about the NIL. I understand it is a component of it, but the truth of the matter is NIL will come when the people who got the money believes in what the program is doing.
That's fair.
And unfortunately, I don't think, you see all this money that we got behind the basketball program. To say that can't happen with the football program would be disingenuous and not being realistic. And
okay, hold on.
Go ahead.
Come on.
Go ahead.
13 guys versus 80 plus players on a roster. Come on now.
Are you telling me to come on? Look at Colorado, bro. Look at Colorado. Look at them.
Well, yeah, but they have prime. It speaks to what your comment was, getting behind a coach that they believe in, and they believe in prime. And obviously, he brought all that talent with him, his kids. I mean, what they're able to do in the portal was insane. And they did that because of prime, and they did that because they got money. But that's prime. That's Deion Sanders, man.
But here's the deal, though. There is a coach out there that will create excitement for the Arkansas program that will generate that.
Tell me I know you. You've already got probably a list. Give me your 3 guys that you think would just light this fan base on fire. And I'll probably agree with you.
This ain't based on realistic or anything. So I'm going to go ahead and kind of, set the tone with that. This ain't based on the possibility of it happening. Just who would probably create the most excitement for the fan base. John Gruden.
Okay.
Nick Saban.
Yeah.
It's not realistic. I told you it's not necessarily realistic. I'm just putting names out there that I know that if they threw the money out there, it would make it would change the dynamics and the vision of what fans, media, and everybody surrounding the program would have. I'm trying to think. I mean, to be honest, Urban Meyer. I don't like him. I don't want him. But just being realistic, just naming names that if we brought them in as the head coach of the Arkansas football program, the NIL dollars would flow through because of the name value and and their reputation in regards to being able to not only get talent, but to cultivate that talent and create a successful program. Now, there's some more names, but I'm just coming off the top of the most, lavish of them all.
I agree with that. Yeah, I think those names would definitely generate. Yeah, the odds of getting them here, getting them to Arkansas, probably not super high. I don't
think John Gruden's odds are as low as we think they are. I think we tossed him $8-9 million a year. I think we'd get him.
Yeah, because he knows he can't go back to the league. He can't go back. They're not going to take him back. So it obviously that's why he's got this push for the college. Well, why he's talked about, oh, I'd love to coach college. Yeah, all right. 8 years ago, that was not the case. He has
let's just visualize. Let's just say John Gruden was the coach, ended up becoming the coach of Arkansas. What would be the sentiment within the fan base? What do you think? How do you think high school recruits and portal recruits would respond to that? And how would the national media look at it?
The only thing on Gruden is obviously the emails. And I recall you in chat telling me some of those emails and what he said. I mean, there were some
I did.
Awful, heinous things. And I'm sure, even though I think there's it's either an unwritten rule or it might actually be an NCAA rule, you can't like negatively recruit against another program, but we all know.
Just so you know, it wasn't heinous. It just was, I wouldn't say tone deaf, but it was, I don't know what the word is, because heinous is definitely not the proper word for it.
Okay.
If anybody says it's heinous, they're soft as baby bottoms, you know? It just wasn't appropriate. It just wasn't appropriate. I'll leave it at that. It just wasn't appropriate.
That's a better way of putting it.
Yeah.
I agree.
But again, I just think that as much as I like Sam Pittman. I do like Sam Pittman. But like don't mean anything when it comes down to results. And unfortunately, results-wise, we have been mediocre or below mediocre, and we just have too many moments where the team checks out. If they fought hard every single game and we lost every single game tough, fighting, it'd be different. Like, it's crazy to look at South Carolina at 5-3, 3-3 in the SEC, and Arkansas 5-4, 3-3 in the SEC. Very similar seasons, but the outlook in South Carolina is completely different than the outlook for Arkansas, because South Carolina is fighting. They're fighting. They're showing a certain amount of fight for their coach, for the program, that leaves them without a sour taste in their mouth. We have a sour taste in our mouth. We're getting smoked too often.
Oh my gosh. Did you see, and we got more callers lined up. I'm going to get to them here in a second, but I was looking at something and it stood out to me, and I didn't even bother to really go over the numbers in the post-game show. Ole Miss scored on real drives. Technically they had 12, but let's be real, 11 of those drives were
11 drives.
They scored 8 out of 11 drives. If you want to get technical, fine, 8 out of 12. They were all touchdowns. Every single one of those scoring drives all ended up in 6, not 3 points, 6 points.
And I know you got to go to the next colors, but I'm going to say this, though. I still believe this, and again, I think TG did not play bad last week, but I think Malachi Singleton's special on the low. I think he's special.
That's where I took a lot of heat. I took a lot of heat because I said that if someone would maybe I didn't make this clear enough. I was really impressed with Malachi. Really impressed. And I said that in the postgame. However, let's be real. When he came in the third quarter, Ole Miss was not playing at the level that they were when it was 0-0. There was not the same level of intensity. However, I don't think sure it matters, but I don't think it would have really mattered because he looked poised, confident, knew where he wanted to go with the ball, got the ball out quick. There was a couple times where he certainly panicked and kind of ran around, and it's funny how he runs. Instead, we're so used to Green, who's taking these long strides.
He got them short, tight strides.
Yeah. But I stand by what I said. I think that's why I said in the postgame, I want to see him. Listen, if Green is not 100% for Texas coming out of the bye week, play Malachi. I want to see this dude, and I get it. It's Texas. This isn't like, Mississippi State or Auburn coming to town. I get it. It's Texas, tough competition. I want to see him because I want to see him prove to everyone some of the stuff that we saw. And to be fair, we did see it. We saw it against Ole Miss. I just think, bro, all people got to do, go back. I did. That's exactly what I did today. Go back and watch what Ole Miss was doing on the sidelines in the third quarter. The way they were acting on the sidelines, they were done. They were checked out. I should say checked out, but they were They were hooting and hollering and celebrating.
They were already in celebration mode.
They were. And that I wish the game was closer when Malachi came in, where they're playing with that higher level of intensity. But I'm not trying to take anything away from Malachi. Malachi was very impressive, and I'm excited.
I got a feeling this kid's going to be special, but at the end of the day, it is what it is. And I don't think TG played a bad game. That sack fumble was mostly on the offensive line. I mean, at the end of the day, maybe he should have got rid of the ball quickly, but if he had got rid of the ball with no receiver around, it would have been a safety anyway. So
should have just ran the ball, right? Should have just ran the damn ball.
They tried to run it on that second down, and they got stopped at the half-yard line. So
yeah, but they still should have ran the ball, man. They still should have ran the ball.
So they should have ran that on that third down and then punt in the back of the end zone, because that's what would happen, because it was third down and
but what was the outcome? What was the outcome when they put him back in shotgun and they tried to throw the ball? What was the outcome?
We saw what the outcome was. It was
with not the most fumble heavy quarterback, the most turnover prone quarterback. I don't know. I mean, it is what it is. Hindsight's 2020. I get it. All right, I'm gonna get these other
school tie.
Huh?
We're basketball school tie.
Oh man, I know. On to basketball season. Hey, we held on a little bit though this year. It wasn't like boom,
Yeah, it didn't happen immediately, but it happened, unfortunately. But we're here. I think we've arrived, because I just wonder how the fan base is going to even respond to the Texas game. Like, I don't, how early the game is going to be, or the fans are going to show up. I mean, it's just, the confidence level. We're partially checked out now.
Yeah, it's going to be.
Play Tupac is checkout time. We got to go.
I hope it's not the Missouri effect. Well, I shouldn't say Missouri effect, but the post Mississippi State game effect. Of course, you did go on to win at Florida, but you did that because you changed the coordinator going into your bye week, and you had a big advantage. And Florida was so bad, but I feel like this is going to get ugly. So, all right, man, I appreciate you, Brim. Take it easy, man. Take it easy. All right, we got Mac coming up, John and Jeremy. I got all y'all. Let me before we get to those. Terry, they had their starters in. I don't care. They were not. Go back and watch how they're trying to tackle Malachi. It is the most soft. They're trying to tackle him first off up top. You're not going to tackle Malachi up top. You need to hit his center section or take his feet out from him, and they're trying to tackle him up top, and it was such half effort. You could see it, man. They were already in celebration mode, and it was again, I'm not saying that there weren't some guys on the field, I'm sure, playing their asses off. Yeah, they had starters on the field. But when the score got so just as bad as it did, Malachi took advantage, and good for him. All right, let's get Mac. What's going on, Mac?
Yo, it's basketball season now.
Yep, it is.
Yes. Well, I didn't think we'd be potentially talking about Sam Pittman maybe leaving before Mike Neighbors leaves. He gets fired. Oh, don't check the score of that game, by the way, if you haven't seen it.
I haven't even.
It's the last I saw with like 58-36.
It's amazing.
Not good.
It's amazing.
Yeah, but you think it's 6-6 or 7-5 for now?
Me?
Yeah,
6-6. My original pick was 6-6 coming out of fall camp, but I didn't think it would get. Well, I know. I mean, I've said before, these are the consequences of keeping Sam Pittman for a fifth year. You're going to have games like this, and unfortunately, he's had two now. You're going to have these close losses, against respectable teams, and then you're going to get blown out. This is Sam Pittman. We can all agree to disagree about the other stuff. This I think we all agree on. Sam is just a carbon copy of what happened last year, and it could get worse in terms of how badly they lose. Mizzou plays really good on defense. Texas is they're a legit top 10 team. I don't know where exactly I would put them, but I think they're a legit top 10 team, and they're going to come in. And there's also the thought of, Sarkisian, the last time he came to Fayetteville, he got rocked. I think
He's
he
gonna want
remembers that.
revenge.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And Missouri, in theory, should be a winnable game, but it's probably gonna be like a Mississippi State game last year.
Oh God, I hope not.
Yeah,
And Mississippi State was bad.
I mean, Missouri's not bad, but if Brady Cook's not playing, their offense is not good.
But Mississippi State last year though was bad. Missouri's somewhat respectable, but they're only good on one side of the ball.
Yes.
So, yeah. Average Joe says, have you heard from reliable sources that Sam Pittman will retire at the end of the season? All I'm going to say about that is that Tusk Talk Patreon has kind of been all over that.
It's been bumping.
Yeah. Mac knows. He's in there. I mean, there's been a lot of.
All it costs is $4, y'all. Just come and join. You won't miss out.
There you go.
There's a lot of good stuff in there.
Ty, can we all agree that Arkansas playing Arkansas State is bad for both programs? Man, I don't know. I mean, I don't care. Like, I don't think it's bad for both programs. I don't know that Arkansas has anything to gain from it.
No. Now, if we lose, it's going to be really bad.
Now you'd certainly have something to lose. That's for sure.
I mean, because we're losing money regardless playing them, but
yeah. Charles Taylor, rather. We have a Charles Harper too. Basketball, they can't beat TCU. We got washed up Kentucky sloppy seconds. Okay. Then I think you got to explain Kansas.
Yeah, it's an exhibition game. I mean, not going to take too much into it, but Kansas is really the game we should be looking at more than the TCU game.
Yeah. I was wondering if TG was overdosed. He was looking sluggish to start. Well, like Brim said, I mean he didn't do other than that fumble, and that was on him, but it was also the offensive line. I mean they came crashing through. I also believe it was on. They should have just ran the ball. I mean, yeah, you risk a safety, okay, but what you got at a shotgun with TG. I mean, he fumbled the ball, and it was. I mean, we saw. It's almost like you're reading from a damn script. We knew that was going to happen, and it happened.
I was questioning Bobby a lot that game, and even if that was a play call for a pass, like TG should at least have the awareness to get out, run, don't take a sack, don't allow a touchdown, fumble.
Yeah, or just throw the ball behind you, take the 2 points. I don't know. I mean, there are several things they could have done there. Sam Pittman retirement rumors. Yeah, I saw him. I forgot who it was, but there's been several people who claim to be credible who have said that he is retiring. Courtney Mims and I talked about this very thing 2 weeks ago. We talked about, or was that last week? 2 weeks ago, last week, I can't remember. It was before the 3-hour live show that we did. It was the show before that, and we discussed, and I asked her the possibilities that Sam Pittman rides off into the sunset. I don't know that it's on a good note or not. I don't know that it's Sam Pittman riding off into the sunset with a dumpster fire behind him or not. I don't know, but is that what happens? Is it a possibility? And Courtney Mims said, yeah, she could see that happening. Since then, and I'm not saying we're the catalyst to all that, but since then, especially after this loss against Ole Miss, now you're hearing, oh, well, he's going to retire. He's going to retire. I'm going to tell you, I think it's a possibility. His hip is a concern for anyone that watches him. I'm going to just say it. I feel so bad for him watching him step off that bus. That dude has got to be in so much freaking pain. And I had an uncle that had a full hip replacement. Rest in peace, Uncle Bill. it was horrible, and it just changed him as a person. Even after the surgery, he still had to ride around in a scooter. Now, to be fair, he was also much older than Sam, and definitely wasn't active. You think about a head coach; they're active. He's walking up and down that field every day of the week, right? And I think he also takes walks too. So he's an active guy. And I don't know that hip recovery surgery or hip recovery from a surgery like that, I don't know how long it would take, but there is a belief that that's where that's coming from. It all has to do with his bad hip. I hate to say that as like I know for a fact, because I don't know. It may not, I don't know. He's claimed his hip. It could be some other stuff going on with the guy too. I don't know, his back. He played football, right? He's he's a little older, but I have seen the rumors. It has been an ongoing conversation. Nobody. Mac got disconnected. Nobody that I know of has confirmed that that's what's going on, that he's going to step down. Also, to be fair, I've not asked anybody. I've not asked a single soul outside of what's happening in our Patreon chat. That's between there and Twitter is where all this is coming from. John, what's going on, man?
What's up, man?
Okay, it's John Hawes. I wasn't sure.
How did you not know?
That's true. What's going on?
Oh, kicking the shit out of Troy.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. Doing my Georgia State rebuild, passing the time.
Yeah, man.
So my thing is, I've been a supporter of Sam the whole time.
Mm-hmm.
But the way we've come out in these last two home games, sluggish, no energy, no drive. Our defense out there, they was tackling how Ole Miss was in the third quarter.
Yeah.
The whole game, nobody wanted to put a hat on nobody.
I agree.
Nobody wanted to get in. Landon Jackson standing up on the line of scrimmage with his thumb up his ass. That shit had me hot. I don't give a damn. You getting paid that money, get out there and play.
Yeah.
I don't. It's time to move on. Now, that said, I get a lot of shit for telling people that, Sam's done what we've expected him to do.
Right.
He was brought to build a foundation. Everybody's like, oh, well, you're accepting mediocrity. Well, I would rather be mediocre than ass.
Okay.
And the 3 years before Sam got here, we was ass.
Mm-hmm.
So, our foundation's built. It's time to go get somebody that's gonna win some games.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, and I agree too that is exactly what he was brought here to do. He was here. I called him when he was hired an in between foundational building hire. That's what he is. That's what he's supposed to do. He has done that. My fear is he had that, unbelievable, like year one. Think about it. You won 3 SEC games, realistically 4. Looking at Auburn, that was something we hadn't seen in the previous years. That many conference games. Yeah, you played 10 conference games. Sure. Chad Morris was not going to win any of those games. Brett Bielema, especially after what happened in his 5th year, was not going to win any of those games, or maybe 1. Sam won 3 and arguably won 4 SEC games, played competitively against some really good teams. Not in all of them. And then 2021 happened. In 2022, you had to deal with some things. You had some injuries. You still underachieved. A lot of people thought they're going to do, 8-9 games, and you won 6. And then you won 4. And now you've had what's happened against LSU and Ole Miss. Like, it's just been this steady decline. The fear is, even at 6-6, what kind of a foundation is he really building? I would say it's at least one that was a hell of a lot better than what he took over. And that's really what matters at the end of the day. But they also have to go out and get someone that knows how to build on top of that foundation. And let's be real, it feels like there might be a few cracks in that foundation. And it's not going to happen. Listen, they're going to beat the shit out of Louisiana Tech. But if they did get blown out against Texas, if they did barely beat Louisiana Tech, and if they did get stomped by Mizzou, there's going to be a lot of questions about just what kind of a foundation did he really build. But I would still argue it was better. I would still argue it was certainly better than Brett Bielema's last year in the year and a half of Chad Morris.
Yeah, absolutely. We've got. I mean, we went and got a 500 coach. That's a stopgap coach, and we did it with a guy who didn't have the experience. We took a dude who didn't do it and asked him, "Hey, you're going to come in and be the CEO." We took a hand and said, "You're about to run this company."
Right.
And for that, Sam's done what we needed him to, and I appreciate what Sam has done. And I wouldn't be mad if Sam stuck around the program after his time was over, somewhere in the foundation or, maybe in the recruiting department. That's 6.
Yeah, he could. I mean, a lot of people keep saying that, well, he's just going to go right off to his retirement home or his forever home with his wife. He might, but I think he could if it is true, and I don't know if it is or not, but if it is true that he's going to ride off into the sunset, and I don't know. I cannot confirm that for sure. Just what I've seen in Patreon, because like I said, I've not really asked anybody because I want to give it a little bit of time before I start annoying people, texting and making any phone calls. But I could see him working with the Razorback Foundation, having something to do with the program, maybe, but it's either that or he's just going to ride off with his wife and, do his thing. And you know what? He, I don't know. Some people may not believe that he earned it, but I think Arkansas is not the job that people think that it is. There's a lot of people that think that, well, okay, it's year 5. Why are you not winning 10 games? That's just not. Listen, I hear you. Pittman or Bobby Petrino was doing it in year 3 and year 4. Houston Nutt was here 10 years. How many 10-win games did he have? And there's a lot of people, including myself, who will agree that Houston Nutt was a hell of a coach. Not everybody, but a lot of people. It's not a super easy job, at least not while Arkansas is in the SEC. It's just not a super easy job. So I would say, yeah, he's deserved it. If he steps down and they end things on even ground, amicably, and just end it there, then he's earned that much. Now, if they give him a massive, if they don't try to negotiate that buyout and he just takes that money and he rides off, well, then that might be a different story, which could still happen. I don't know. But
I just don't see him publicly firing the guy.
I don't either. I'm with you. I mean, I do, but more likely after year 6.
Yeah, if he comes back next year and it's the same old shit, then
Yeah.
they hey, look, you know what? Appreciate it. Sorry about your bad luck. Catch you on the next one.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, exactly.
I can't see them firing him this year. And I've been saying that since the beginning of the season.
After what we've seen this year with the Tennessee win and getting to 6 wins, now, again, if they lost Louisiana Tech, yeah, he's fired. He'd be fired. John, he wouldn't survive.
I don't know that he would be fired even after that. I think he would be let retire.
Maybe.
It may be a forced retirement, but I just don't see Hunter being the kind of guy who's just gonna, because Chad Morris was a dickhole. He deserved every bit of getting fired.
Mm-hmm.
Pittman, let the man finish out these last 2 games and call it quits.
Well, there is something to consider why you could be right one way or another. If he only wins 5, he's not coming back, would be my point. But the sympathy thing, right? Like, the guy is obviously hobbling around. I can't. It's sad. I hate to say it, but man, I feel for the guy. Every step, I'm like, God, that's got to hurt him. And so other fans see that, and there's going to be that kind of sympathy, like, oh man, you can't fire him. Like, I mean, he's out there hobbling around, the poor guy. I mean, and he probably doesn't want anybody's sympathy. He probably is not that kind of guy, but still, it would exist, and that side could play into the decision making of Hunter Yurachek. You don't want to look like a dick. You don't want the U of A to look like a bunch of assholes. But at the same time, if you lose to Louisiana Tech, I don't know that it would matter. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong.
I don't see us losing to Louisiana Tech. If we lose to
No.
Louisiana Tech, I'll drive up there my damn self and escort them out. And I got 10 hours to think about it the whole time. Too.
Yeah. I'd pay to see that. Yeah, I'm with you though. He's not going to lose Louisiana Tech, and in fact, I still think there's a possibility he comes back with 6 wins. So,
I still think we beat Missouri.
I mean, they're definitely fraudulent. There's no doubt about that. But,
well, all right, G. I'll hop out. I definitely wanted to just get some XP. I couldn't let Kerper get all of it.
So you and Mac.
No, not Mac. Just me.
You and Mac and Jeremy, because Jeremy's up next. If he's still there, are all gonna get your XP, and you're gonna make it onto the wheel to see who gets this autographed card.
Well, let me know. If I win it, I gotta send you the new address. So.
Holy cow! Did y'all hear that? Did I just disconnect?
I got you.
Holy crap. Dude, that sounded like a shotgun outside my garage door. Anybody hear that in chat? Oh my God. I don't know how the power hasn't gone out. That was nuts. All right, let me get to this next caller. I appreciate you, John.
All right, boss.
See you, man.
Yep.
Damn. Oh, that's right. This microphone has noise cancellation. That was loud. What's going on, Jeremy?
Hey, Ty, can you hear me okay?
I can hear you perfect. Jeremy, aren't you up here in Northwest Arkansas?
I'm close. So I'm in Northwest Oklahoma. So
okay, yeah, you're not far.
No, I'm closer to. I can get to Fayetteville in about an hour and a half, which I'm closer to Fayetteville than I am like Norman or Oklahoma, any of the state schools.
Oh wow!
Here.
So, dude, you're. Well, no, okay. I mean, but so the storms went over your head too, then.
Oh yeah, my wife and I we've been keeping up with it. I mean, ever since last Wednesday is kind of when it started up until this weekend. Yeah, anything that you guys get hits us first, pretty much. It travels, from the west to the east. So like
always.
The storms you get. Yeah, the storms that you had shelter from was where I live about an hour or so before you guys. So,
bro, it was kind of scary there for a minute. I really thought
it was early Sunday morning, about 4:30. My wife and I, our phones just went crazy with a tornado warning, and we actually got hit by a tornado back in May. And so we have 3 little kiddos that we're outnumbered, so we have to hurry up and get them and then get them to the shelter. And they've got PTSD from the last time we did that. So,
oh man,
it's always fun.
We played Battleship. I busted out the Battleship, got our little dinner table, and just kind of kept them distracted from it. What do you got for me, Jeremy?
Yeah, so Ty, I'm just calling to talk about, Sam Pittman and the state of the team. I think, excuse me, you've nailed it, your post-game Saturday and some of the callers. And I just want to kind of, state what I think is going on, what changes need to be made, if there are any changes. And I'm just going to be honest with my opinion and kind of the way that I feel. And so I'm not being dogmatic or saying that, what I'm throwing out there is objective and factual. But my conviction with the state of the program is I don't know how Arkansas does anything short of firing Sam Pittman after this season. I know that the conversations, he's a nice guy, and I think he's a nice guy, and I agree with you, Ty. I think, he's an in-between hire trying to set that foundation. And when we, if he was to be let go after the end of this year or retire, I think we as Hawk fans need to look back at that with that being the standard and give Sam Pittman his props, because the argument would be he did what he sought out to do, be a mediocre program. But when I watch a product, Ty, like we watched on Saturday, I can't stand it anymore. Like, I mean, let's just be honest. When I'm watching us on defense, we can't get a pass rush. They burn us over the top all of the time. Our secondary is literally non-existent. From an offensive standpoint, our offensive line, like Blue Light Special versus Louis Vuitton, like, dude, you guys aren't even on the clearance. Like, you should be given out for free. Like, they are so bad. And I hate being rude, but I've got to be real. Like, it's so frustrating watching a team like Arkansas where, yes, the standard isn't national championship or bust every single year at Arkansas. But my opinion is I think Arkansas should be a consistent. I think we should average about 8-4 a year. Having years where maybe we go 6-6, but having years which we go 10-2. I think that should be the standard at Arkansas, and I don't think in year 5 Sam Pittman has. Okay, let's take a step back. At the end of last season, you got blown out by Auburn. You got blown out by Missouri. The argument was, well, Arkansas let go of the rope. The offensive coordinator change. Offense was just terrible. The KJ situation. Defense let go of the rope. Whatever. You were 5-3 heading into this game. You were 3-2 in conference. From a technicality standpoint, I know people, and this is going to be far-fetched. I'm not saying we wouldn't make the college football playoff, but you were still vying and jockeying for to potentially end up one of the top teams in the conference.
Yeah.
You still had a lot to play for, not to mention a bowl berth. I don't know. How about just showing up for your home fans, being proud of the state that you're playing for? And it was an absolute embarrassment. This, I think, was the worst loss in the Sam Pittman era. I know he's got beat worse by more points, but considering what was at stake in year 5, this loss was an absolute embarrassment. We couldn't block Ole Miss. We couldn't stop Ole Miss. It was the same thing with LSU. We're sitting there playing Mississippi State, and everybody's like, oh, we found it. No, you didn't. You played the worst freaking team in the country. And I'll tell you what, I made a post on Facebook because everybody, loves Facebook. And all I said was something along the lines of offense sucks, defense sucks. It's year 5. What are we waiting for? And I had so many people. Where were you at last week? What were you saying last week? What, after we dubbed a terrible team? I had some people say, well, what about the Tennessee game? Were you saying that the Tennessee game? It's one freaking game. That should be the exact reason why he's let go, because the standard is not getting one good win at the University of Arkansas and calling it a season. Last time I checked, you played 12 of these games, not one. You beat Tennessee. Who cares? You still have a whole conference schedule left. And you've gotten embarrassed on your home field back-to-back times you've played in Arkansas. One was a 2.5-point spread, another one was a 7-point spread. What are we doing, man? There has got to be changes. And I, again, love Sam as a guy. I'm from Oklahoma. He's from Grove. I went to high school in Adair, which is about an hour away from Grove. So I actually know people that know Sam Pittman, grew up with Sam Pittman. They say he's an outstanding guy, and I absolutely love that about Sam Pittman. And don't change always doing the right thing, Sam Pittman. However, piggyback that with not everybody's cut out to be a head coach. And with that being said, I don't think Sam Pittman, I'll make a couple more points, Ty. I know you got to probably move on from me, but I've had this vented up for the past couple of days.
No, you're good.
You have a head coach, right? Let's say you're an offensive head coach or you're a defensive head coach or you're able to really manage games. Typically, a head coach is really, really good at least one thing. I'm not, and I don't say this to be rude, I'm not really sure what Sam Pittman's good at, because he's supposed to be an offensive line guru, and you can say that's going to be his undoing, and I would agree with you. He's not the defensive head coach. He's not the offensive head coach. Is he a good recruiter? Maybe, but it's not something that he's so good at that you can make the argument you need to keep him because he's so good at recruiting. I really don't know, what that one thing is that Sam Pittman does that's like, yes, bring him back for year 6. You got beat by 47 points or 108 points by Ole Miss. Yeah, bring it. It's just not adding up to me. And again, I'm not saying go get, Nick Saban out from retirement. That's not what I'm saying. But my philosophy on it is this, Ty. The whole who you gonna get crowd. I know that you should make a shirt, by the way. Who you gonna get? That will fly off the charts. But it's not a gamble, in my opinion, trying to move away from Sam Pittman. If I was going to the blackjack table, I would have no issues putting $20 down and potentially losing that $20. In the same sense, if you hired somebody worse than Sam Pittman, which I don't think you would, you're not losing a whole lot. Now, if I put $5,000 on blackjack, that's more of a gamble. If you're trying to move on from a head coach that's actually proven and won games. The point that I'm trying to make is you can go get somebody better than Sam Pittman and kind of use this as the in-between hire to try to move on, man. I love Arkansas sports so much. I'm so passionate about it, as we all are. If you're listening to the show, you are. And I take pride And the way my team looks on a Saturday on ESPN, and when I turn the TV on, I say, hey, millions of other people are watching Arkansas play like this. How does that make the state look? How does that make the team look? And I take those things very seriously, and I think other people should too. And, I don't know what your thoughts are, or if, you want to say anything to that, but I'll be more than willing to listen, man.
Well, no, I agree with everything that you said. As far as I don't know that it's a guarantee that the next guy would be better.
Correct.
Because you did end up with, to be fair, it was an interim hire. It was bad timing, but you did end up with John L. after Petrino. And, of course, you had to fire Petrino. Brett Bielema was clearly not the same coach that Petrino was. And that's what we keep getting back to, right? Like trying to get back to that level of winning and what Petrino brought to the table. Jack Crow eventually got you Danny Ford, right? So, okay, that was a better hire, I guess. Danny Ford was better. You did make it to an SEC championship, but that part of the SEC was garbage. Florida, it was kind of Florida and then everybody else. It's not a guarantee that the next guy is going to be great, no matter who it is, because being a fit does kind of matter. I used to argue, and I still kind of do. It's like when people say, well, Big Ten coaches don't work here. That's why Brett Bielema didn't work here. Maybe not. I don't know. But they have worked out at other places.
Right.
Whether they were coordinators from the Big Ten or head coaches from the Big Ten, why couldn't they work here? Why can't a coach from out west work here? And, then the counter argument's always, well, it's a cultural thing, so on and so forth. But, last I checked, Bobby Petrino was from where? Montana?
Correct.
So, but again, it just goes back to it's not guaranteed that the next guy will be better. However, they're going to have more to work with because of Sam. No doubt about it, compared to if they were taking over from when Chad was here.
Yeah.
Yeah, Hog Fed. Yeah. I was talking about it at Arkansas, but yeah, you're right. Saban coached at Michigan State. You've certainly had some Big Ten guys come down here and do well. Jeremy, I've got Lance. He's been waiting forever. I'm going to get him.
Ty.
But I appreciate you, man.
Yes,
as
sir.
always. I got you your
sir.
XP. I know you're not a regular in Discord, but you got your 15,000 XP, and you're going to be on the wheel spin for the card.
Yeah, I'm not a regular conversator, but I do. I mean, I see everything you do. I see all the Discord chats. Maybe I need to do better, but I keep up with all your stuff, Ty. Even if you don't hear from me for a while, I'm still there, brother. So
I
take
appreciate
care.
you,
Thanks
man.
for giving me a voicemail. I'll talk to you later.
Absolutely. I appreciate you, Jeremy. All right, we got Lance. What's going on, Lance?
Hey, Ty, can you hear me?
I can hear you loud and clear, brother.
All right, great. I was going to make a couple points. I know this is getting on close to that hour mark for you, so I don't want to drag it out too long.
I got a little bit of time.
I was never, I like Sam, like I said, nice guy. But, man, when he made that comment about our players being great value, blue light specials, I just absolutely – I knew right then and there we were going to lose that damn game. I mean, because that is the defeatist attitude. I mean, just you can't go into a game with that. I mean, that has to trickle down to the players. I mean, what does that say? Why would a player want to go back out on the field after hearing that? That got back to him. Wherever he meant it, to drive up the NIL. I'm sure that's the angle he was going for. We need more money. I need more money. I get it. Better players, better results, 4-star, 5 stars, 3 stars, 4 stars. I get it. But, man, how do you make that comment about your program?
Yeah.
In year 5, that's just, I mean, I know Sam sometimes, speaks a little too freely. That was just brutal for me. I just couldn't recover from that emotionally.
Well,
Sam's got to go.
You can live with the Louis Vuitton argument that he made about Ole Miss because he's not wrong. That was a Louis Vuitton. That was cream of the crop kind of talent over there. I mean, he's not wrong about that part. But then, the blue light special comment, and I listened to it, and it was pretty rough. And I don't know how your locker room, I don't know how they respond to that. I don't know. I mean, he has done that.
At least sync it up with our corporate sponsor, the rollbacks or, something. At least get, the corporate sponsor right if you're going to make such a crazy comment.
Wasn't the blue light special a Kmart thing?
Yes, it's Kmart's, old slogan. So
it's not even an existing retail store or a brick and mortar retail store. I think they've got online shopping, but they're not even a brick and mortar. they're not a existing known brick and mortar retail store. If they're going to use you're right. Use Walmart.
Use your correct sponsor that's out on your field for. But like
Yeah.
I said, I mean, that was just an embarrassing loss for the program. So much for the proud damn state slogan that we're not going to take those kind of whippings no more. We took one right on the chin.
Twice.
I mean, the celebrations in the third quarter, dunking on us. I mean, I get it. Some of the players out there were still fighting, but man, you could just tell they didn't want no part of it.
Yeah, for sure. And I think that's a pretty good argument to make too. That Malachi, and that's something I appreciate about Malachi. When the chips were down, man, he was out there giving it his all. I mean, and he always does. Malachi is really growing on me. I like him a lot, and it's not just because of his skill, but I mean, he clearly. Listen, I'll say this. I know you didn't bring it up, but since I've kind of ventured into that territory, if Green plays against Texas, and he struggles to score, and they struggle to finish off drives, I think there's going to be a quarterback battle. I think the leash might start to loosen up a little bit. And if it gets bad enough, if he fumbles, if he throws a pick, and it gets bad enough, and let's say Texas gets out in front, 20-plus points, maybe more, Malachi will probably get trotted out there. And I think we could have a legitimate quarterback. And it's weird to say that at the tail end of the year, but I believe that could be something that happens. Malachi showed a lot, and I don't know how any staff would say otherwise. I thought Malachi showed a lot against Ole Miss.
Like I said, you can still see some of the players out there, giving it, their best try, great value and all. But, it was rough. I mean, that's from the top down. Anytime you got a company here in a situation like that where your leadership's already defeated before you start the project, I mean, it's not going to go well. I'm sure Sam would like to take that comment back after he said it, but, once you say something, it's out there.
Yeah. Listen, I've only ever heard, and I know that there's been some individual situations over the years. There's certainly been some coaches that have been accused of a toxic locker room or weight room, but from what I understand, a lot of those guys really do enjoy playing for him. And that's part of the reason why he does do pretty well, all things considered, on the recruiting trail.
And again, I'll give Sam that credit. I mean, I'm sure all of their players, they came there for a reason. All of them say it was Sam, it was the closer or whatever on them. It's the reason that they play for the University of Arkansas. Stuff like that. And I get that. And, with NIL money, I know that's a factor too. Nobody's crazy to think that, those paychecks don't matter, because they do. And those kids earn that money. So, I mean, each his own. I'm not trying to, say they don't deserve more money, and better players. But, I mean, you still got to coach them up. You still got to scheme it up, all that stuff. And, there's some blame for the players, there's some blame for the coaches throughout the season, because, there's good and bad on both sides. I was really hoping to see more out of Sam this year, like I said, because everybody likes Sam. I think the whole state would love for Sam to be winning 8-9 games a year, staying around. But, at that 6-6 mark, 7-5, I just, again, Barry Odom got fired on that 6-6 year, and look where Missouri is. They're in much better shape than we are.
Yeah.
At that point, and he was let go on that season. So, I mean, and he was one of their own, graduated from him, all the ties that he had. Missouri said, not good enough. So, why we can't look at it any different than they can. We can't bring feelings into a business decision.
That's very fair. That is true. I did say earlier with John that I felt like they would probably – I agreed with him that if they got to 6, that they would try to come to some agreement because of their kind of sympathy for the guy. But you're also right that this will be it's got to be a business decision, because this is, after all, it's a multi-billion-dollar industry, college football is. And,
well, Ty, I appreciate the Vine. I'm excited about your Thursday opportunity and what that's about, so we can discuss the other teams in the SEC, whether we hate them or talk trash about them. I know some of their fans coming to your stream quite often to troll us, and poor little old Arkansas or Arky or Bacon Bits, and it'd be nice to give some of the business back, to them on, win or lose or whatever they got going on with their program. I'm just, who would have thought, Auburn's, because, I live in Alabama, and I'm just enjoying every second of both of these schools struggling and coming back down to reality where they're at, with Alabama struggling. And then, of course, Auburn being in the exact same ship they were in, because you know who you're going to get. They fired their coach, and
Yeah.
they're right back in the same boat. So who knows? But anyway, Ty, I appreciate it. Enjoy the show as always, and everybody get out there and join Discord that's not already involved in it.
There you go. Get into Discord. Join Patreon. I appreciate you, Lance. Nope. I think he. Okay. He's out. All right. What about? Hold on. What was this? What did you say here about Patreon? Been in Patreon for almost 2 years, so I haven't found a way to get into it. What do you mean? If you're talking about Discord, you got to connect your Patreon or your Discord to Patreon. You got to connect if you're in Discord, because that's where everything's at. That's where everything gets posted. The Patreon site, I will upload videos from time to time, but most of the whatever we're discussing or what's going on, it's in the Patreon. It's in the Patreon chat in Tusk Talk Discord. So if you connect the two, and there's also, if you look to the top right of Discord, if you look at pinned messages, there should be a way. You have to scroll down just a little bit. We may need to update it, but there is a way. Eagle Mike, my administrator for Tusk Talk Discord, left a way. It tells you how to connect. And there's also a video. Actually, maybe I can copy and paste this for you. This video should help you out. There you go. Paste. Boom. If you want to go check that out afterwards, you can copy and paste it. All y'all said, here we go, Terry Williams. All y'all said we would win 3 games this year, maybe 4. Laugh out loud. And we going to win 7 or 8 games and still bitching. It's so crazy to me. Terry, you got to be kidding me. Are you trying to make an argument for Sam Pittman right now? Did you see how LSU and Ole Miss unfolded? You're about to go 6-6 with only one win that was a solid win, a really good win, which was Tennessee. Terry, come on. You cannot tell me that what happened. And by the way, I said 6-6. That was my prediction. Year 5, I certainly believe that you shouldn't be getting smoked 63-31 at home by anybody. You shouldn't lose to LSU the way that you lost to LSU. You should have given away the second half that you did against Oklahoma State. Should have taken care of business a lot better than you did. I mean, a win's a win, I guess, but 37-27 over UAB. You pounded Mississippi State, which was fool's gold. We all kind of bought into it a little bit because Mississippi State hadn't seen anything. No one had done that to Mississippi State, despite how terrible they are. Georgia didn't do that. Texas A&M didn't do that. Arkansas did it, so we took it as fool's gold. I'm just as guilty. And then, once again, either Arkansas bought into their own whatever. They're drinking their own Kool-Aid, kind of like what happened after Tennessee, and they were unprepared. Looked like they didn't watch a lick of film going into this game. Couldn't cover anybody. Instead of getting hitched to death down the field, you got go routed down the field. You got fade routed down the field. You don't have the talent in the secondary. I've said that since spring camp, and I had people tell me I was wrong. Those people are gone. They're not coming to talk to me. This is usually how it goes. They disappeared. It's kind of like the Arkansas's defensive line is elite guy 2 years ago. You remember that? Boy, he vanished. That was then. Because their defensive line was cheeks. Now your defensive line's pretty good. Your linebacker core probably could be better, but not bad. Xavier Sori is a bit of a baller. I like Xavier Sori. Brad Spence and those guys. But Spence is kind of a rotator. I thought we'd see a little more out of Brad Spence. But the secondary, especially without Braxton, they don't have the depth. They're bad. This is going to go down as one of the worst secondaries Arkansas has had, and that's saying a lot because they have had some atrocious secondary play either under Barry Odom and now under Travis Williams. You can go all the way back to Willie Robb when he was here, when Bobby Petrino was the guy. You can talk about Chief when he was the defense coordinator for Chad Morris. That is saying a lot. This isn't year 1 for T-Will. This is now year 2. You have to have that depth, and they don't have it, man. Like we've had people point out, I think it was Jeremy that pointed out, what is, or no, maybe it was Lance, one of the two pointed out that what is Sam good at? What is he good at? And that's a fair question. I would argue maybe he you know, the Enos thing was bad, right? Okay, but he still brought before that Kendall Briles. You definitely could have done worse than Kendall Briles. Kendall was good. Let's not act like KJ didn't wreck the SEC with the veer and shoot under Kendall. He brought, after the Enos effect, he learned from his mistake and he brought in Petrino. And your offense is improved. We have seen improvement, but it's still not enough. Your offensive line is atrocious. They're horrible. What part of this offensive line is like, no, man, they're great? Patrick Kudus is back. Look how much better they were against Mississippi State. And I had to tell people in my own damn Discord, my own mod, my own administrator, Mike, who's just drinking that Kool-Aid. Oh, look how much better they are with Kudus. And I had to say, slow down. This is Mississippi State. They're bad. And they had injuries on the defensive line. It's easy to look good against someone like Mississippi State. And then you play Ole Miss. And before that, it was every other game. Taylor Green's running for his life. How? Year 3, the offensive line was not good. Year 4, the offensive line was atrocious. And year 5, it's a little bit better than last year. It's not, I don't know if it's atrocious or if it's like just a shade under that. How is that possible? The reaction to this game is rightly justified. I know someone's going to complain. They're going to, oh, here we go. I don't care. It's justified. 700 yards of offense. T. Will is not the next head coach. You notice his name's not coming up. We're talking about retirement, and no one's talking about T. Will being the next guy. Where'd those people go? They vanished too. And I'm not afraid to call them out. I get called out when I'm wrong. I'll call you out when you're wrong. You're wrong. T. Will is not the guy. You're right, however, I believe, those that were defenders of T. Will, that down the road he could be a really solid defensive coordinator. And then eventually I think he will make a good head coach. He's going to have to learn from this year. Would I want him back next year, however? I don't know. I hate to say that because I've been a defender of T. Will, saying that his product is getting better despite the injuries, despite how I still don't know if they have that kind of depth on the D-line, but it has been better. I thought they did good with the linebackers the last 2 years outside of the Pooh Paul stuff. But I think I guess they're just too soft on these guys. I don't know. But it's crazy because 3 weeks ago I was saying T. Will needs to be here for another 2 years. Now I'm like, no, I'm good. Tennessee game was one game. Right? A&M, you performed well. The defense did their best. Right? There's been some close losses that you don't put on the defense. And yet you still have games where it's like, but you do put it on the defense here and there, or they weren't as competitive as they at least should have been. And I do agree with this. They are missing Braxton in a big way. I agree with that 1,000%. Yeah, A&M is well, I guess that's not the close win we thought it was. That wasn't the moral victory we thought it was. And no, they lost their opener, by the way, to Notre Dame, not UCF. Appreciate the love, man. The Patreon love. I appreciate that. I realize going live in the middle of a storm is, I appreciate you guys being here. Oh, wait, are you talking about – wait. Are you talking about basketball? Hold up. What are y'all talking about? Did Texas A&M lose to UCF in basketball? I haven't looked at their schedule. I'll be damned. They did. Okay, I thought you were talking about football. My bad. Oh, my God. I love it. I don't look too much into these early season, non-con games, but oh man, you love to see it. I wonder how that A&M or the Texas Longhorn Ohio State game is going to go. That's on tonight. That's on here in 30 minutes. I might try and catch that. That's my bad. I thought you were talking about football. I was like, no, they lost to Notre Dame, bro. And UCF stormed the court. You love it. Yeah, I didn't pay attention. I haven't even looked at the SEC schedule. Basketball tonight, Ty. My bad, other Mike. Why don't you call in, you coward? Call in. I haven't had time to look at basketball. We got Lipscomb on Wednesday. By the way, we're going to bring on Blake Lovell from Southeastern 16. We're going to bring him on Wednesday. We're going to talk about Arkansas. We'll probably dabble into some Lipscomb. I'm going to try and get Courtney Mims on this week. I don't plan on doing a lot. I'm going to kind of take it easy this week. I'm not going to lie to you. The weekend took a toll on me. It just gets tiring, having just morons, having to deal with morons in the comment section from time. Not all of them, just a couple. Having to deal with all that, having to deal with the Arkansas loss, the TCU exhibition loss, despite the fact that it was an exhibition. It's taxing. Eventually you're just like, all right, it's going to be a light work week for me. I'm not going to do a whole lot more. We're going to do, again, we'll have Blake Lovell on Wednesday. He's going to tell you what he thinks about Arkansas, talking to Arkansas fans. And, then we'll talk about what their matchup. I don't know how much we'll dive into Lipscomb actually, because that is game one, but I know we'll talk about what the rotation might look like against Lipscomb. Arkansas going to win a national championship in basketball. Terry, they're stacked. I keep telling people I don't care about the TCU exhibition, despite the fact that it now, looking back, it feels like salt on a wound, after what happened with Arkansas and Ole Miss. But I just don't care about that game. In fact, it might be a character builder. We might look back on it, in a few weeks and go, damn, maybe that game did tell us something. But we had the Purdue moment last year, and what did that prove? So I wouldn't look to I wouldn't look too much into it, I guess. Ty, you called A&M basketball frauds. I think they're fraudulent. I mean, yeah. I'll say that. To be fair, it was at UCF. They lost by 3 points, 64-61. I said at the beginning of the year, I thought Arkansas, I didn't say that A&M shouldn't be ranked. I thought they should be ranked. I am surprised by this, by the way. But I said Arkansas should probably be ahead of A&M, and I still feel that way. And now I feel vindicated. You know how it goes. Do you think X's and O? Do you think it's an X's and O's problem with Sam, or getting the players to play hard problem? I don't know, man. D, all the above, Pigpen. I mean, it's disgusting the way they performed Saturday. I mean, it was disgusting. Listen, again, you guys can disagree with me on a number of things, and that's fine, but that shouldn't be something fans stay quiet about. I don't call myself an advocate, okay? I'm not out in the streets, protesting, but I will tell you that fans don't need to shut up. They don't need to shut up, okay? That's the last thing you do. That's how if you're not going to listen, there's people who use their wallet. They speak with the truest form of democracy, which is your wallet. Okay. That's fair. You can do that. I stand by what I said with the NIL. I mean, at the end of the day, not giving the NIL is not the answer. But I understand why you wouldn't want to give to the NIL. But I also think another way is letting your voice be heard on Twitter, on social media, or X, whatever. I'm not saying to go harass people, but to take to Twitter and, Voice your concerns. Call into Chuck and Bo's show. Again, don't harass them. Don't be asshats. Don't be asshats to Chuck and Bo, but just, hey, this was gross. This was gross. What happened on Saturday was inexcusable. That should not be tolerated. This, again, in the year 5 argument is valid. Losing to 24 points coming out of a bye week to LSU was silly. But then to get blown out at home again, 63-31 to Ole Miss, who, yeah, they're a good team and all that. They've got the NIL at the wazoo. Fair. But that still you've played teams more talented than Ole Miss in the years past and either beaten them or played them toe-to-toe to the fourth quarter. Not often. Some might argue that Tennessee is about the same level of talent. However, the quarterback situation is vastly different. But when you look at top to bottom talent, that's a really good roster. But so is Ole Miss. Ole Miss is loaded. But that still shouldn't happen. You go back to last year, some of those road games, Arkansas barely lost. We can do the woulda, coulda, shoulda stuff all day long, and you still found a way to lose those games. Sometimes it was just getting out-talented, or it was turnovers or mistakes. But again, it's the lack of game management, and just it feels like you're in over your head. And as soon as Taylor Green fumbled that ball in the end zone and they scored, a team like Ole Miss is going to kick you while you're down. It felt like from that moment on, they were all in, like, yeah, we're going to stomp you. It's going to happen. Even though it was kind of close in the first half, though, for a little bit, not for long, for a little bit. And then they scored, 28 points in the second quarter. 28 points in the second quarter. Arkansas scored 10 in the first half. Yeah, they were not the same team in the third quarter. They weren't. Arkansas goes on to score 21 points in the second half. Malachi did look good. Man, oh man, if he can build off this performance. If Green is not healthy, Malachi needs to be the guy. At least A&M. Yeah, we were just talking about that. Is it time for the airing of grievances? Yeah, we've been dropping links. If anyone wants to call, I'll let you have your shot here. If you want to call in, if you're Discord, you're going to get 15,000 XP, and your name is going to be added to a wheel that I will spin either tonight or tomorrow, and you are going to win an autographed card from Arkansas. But you got to be in Discord. So if anyone wants to get in here, the main concern is players not playing hard. They just act like they're playing hard is a disgrace. Who do you want as the next head coach, Ty? We'll have to cross that bridge when we get to it. I mean, I have a list. Some of them won't surprise you. But I do think it's got to be someone who has at least got 3 years of head coaching under their belt, and they've shown signs of success in a power conference. Number 21, Florida is losing to South Florida at half. Oh, God, yes. Although, I'm not going to lie, I'm a little surprised. I said Florida would be pretty good. The question is, who you going to get? We're going to get stuck with that man out west. Who are you talking about? Out west? I mean, when you say out west, I'm thinking like old Pac-12 country. I mean, if you're talking about Texas. Oh, yeah, Barry Odom. Yeah. Of course. Yeah, Barry Odom. Could be. Oh, it's okay. He was talking old Pac-12 country. He says Lincoln Riley. Oh, man. His offense might be kind of fun for a minute. But I think Barry Odom would be more likely. I'm not going to give – I don't know what to think of Barry Odom. I don't know what to think about him and what he did at Mizzou. It does feel like a retread hire. However, he's either just a perfect fit at UNLV and he needs to stay there, or I don't know, man. Maybe he figured something out, and he might be a steal for the next program. I don't know. But it does feel like that's going to be their move. It does. Between him, Rhett Lashley, I think they probably will take a run at Kurt Cignetti, the Indiana coach. You know, he's only making like 4. I think I read he's making 4.2 at Indiana. But the problem with him, and I shouldn't say problem, that's not fair. But the thing that sticks out is the guy's like 64 years old. 63, 64. You're not talking about, and that's no disrespect to our viewers who are in their 60s, but I'm talking about if you're wanting a young, hungry coach, that's not a young coach. I'm talking about a guy that is in his 60s. But hey, whatever, winning's winning, right? And he's doing that. His overall head coaching record, have you guys seen it? I saw it. Someone posted it. It's like 130 and like 9 or something. It's insane. This guy wins games. He was at James Madison for what? Was it 5 years, 4 years? I mean, I don't know, man. That's a lot of winning, you know. And he's been a coordinator at some P3, P4 schools, you know. Why not hire Kendall Briles? Yeah, I know. The tornadoes dropping everywhere. I can hear the rain. I haven't gotten an alert yet. But I do think we're going to end it there. Listen, again, I want to make this clear, though. I want to make this clear. First off, I better hurry up. It's thundering. I am a fan of Malachi. We can agree to disagree about when he played and what Ole Miss was doing on defense, whatever. I don't care. I liked what I saw out of Malachi. And it makes me believe that I'm not going to sit here and tell you that he should have been QB1 from the get-go because I was there in spring and fall camp, and Green looked like the better guy. He did. He looked like the better quarterback. At times, it didn't seem like anybody was close to Green. And then we saw Green get better as the season went on. However, who knows? Maybe Malachi could have done better. I don't know. If you guys think you know that, congratulations. Awesome. I'm going to invite you to host the next live show. You know what? That's what I'll do. I'm going to invite you to come on, take my place. Go do a post-game show while I go drink some beers with the boys. You could do this. You are a grandmaster at this, and you were right. I don't know. I'm going to tell you, I don't know if he would have been better or not. I do know that Green was very exciting to watch when they have it figured out and the offensive line is doing their part and he's able to move when he's healthy, when he's able to move out of the pocket, do things with his feet. His deep ball is, I mean, it's pretty damn good. And he could throw on the run without a foot planted into the ground. I mean, he's delivered some throws and he's gotten better. His timing is better with the receivers. But again, I get why when you watch what Malachi did to Tennessee in the closing moments of that game, and then what we got to see for whatever it was, 2 quarters, pretty exciting. I don't care what Ole Miss was doing. Yeah, they had starters on the field. That is accurate. They did. And they tried to shoulder tackle him, and it just looked so effortless. Like they just weren't even trying, but he ran right through him. He's quick. We tried telling you the dude can move. He can run. My curiosity about that is I wonder how well he can handle some blows, right? Will he get right back up and get right back in there? I think he will. I hope he sticks with it. I would love to see this dude stick around and get developed at Arkansas no matter who the next coach is because I think he could be pretty exciting. Jacoby Criswell was never a fit in what they were trying to do here. We knew Jacoby probably had it in him to be a pretty decent quarterback. It just nobody was going to have success last year. Nobody. And that's why the put in Criswell thing ended up being, the whole point of it was right. Nobody was going to have success no matter who you put at quarterback. I've said before, maybe he would do well at North Carolina going back. I don't know. And he's done pretty well. I haven't looked at his overall numbers. I don't know what his completion numbers are, but and all that. Not that that's the end all be all to a quarterback, by the way, but it looks like he's had some pretty good games under his belt. I was wrong about Rocket. I'll fully own up to that. I did not think Rocket would look that good in that game against A&M. I think that's the healthiest that dude has been in probably a year and a half, and he torched A&M. I was wrong. I thought his best days were kind of behind him. I was dead wrong. I didn't know what to make about KJ going to UCF. I said, whatever happens, happens. I didn't know if that would be a good fit or not. Am I a little bit surprised? Yeah, I am a little bit, but not really. I don't know. It's all right. Do you think Bobby will be back? I do if they win 6, Terry. I think if Arkansas wins 6 games and Sam doesn't ride off into the sunset, doesn't step down or whatever, I think Bobby comes back. I don't think Bobby comes back as a head coach, but good God, never say never. I don't know. Green stats are, but yes, you're right, Johnny. They are better than KJ's because KJ's, I think he's benched still. Michael Wilkins wants to know, hey, Ty, don't you think Sam Pittman needs another chance? He's been if we go get 6-6. Okay. Okay. So no, I don't think 6. Well, that's tough because we've talked about this before. There is merit to him. Like you understand. I'm trying to word this right, and I don't really know how to word it. Does he deserve to come back? No. No, he doesn't. 5 years to show up the way or the lack of showing up. What happened last year, a lot of people would argue, myself included, that bringing him back for a 5th year, you got what you got. None of this is surprising. Those are the consequences of keeping him for a 5th year. However, you beat Tennessee, right? But the question is, for me, does he deserve to come back? No. However, bringing Petrino back, bring him back if you could, God help you, if you could, get Taylon Green and Malachi back, get a true quarterback battle in the offseason. Let Malachi get reps with the ones. Let the development process begin. I think they're pretty damn close. Green's athleticism's a little bit higher, but good God, we saw Malachi run his ass off, didn't we? So the question, if you're asking me, does he deserve it? No. Just winning 6. I've said at the beginning of the year. In fact, I had Mason Choate from hogbeat.com from Rivals. I had him on here and I said, I'm pretty sure that was live that I said that 7 should probably be the number for him to return. 6 shouldn't cut it, but it probably will. Assuming, the stuff with the hip and all that gets figured out. It's not an easy question. So I'm on each side of that, I guess. I don't think he should. I don't think he deserves to come back. And that's weird to say because I don't know. Getting to 6 just couldn't be. That can't be the way you come back is just getting bowl eligible. That shouldn't be enough. And yet I think if he doesn't ride off into the sunset, he probably will. And I think there is a benefit to bringing Petrino back. How will it weigh out in the end? You've got an incredibly tough schedule at the end of the year or next year. You got a really tough schedule next year. Do you really want to bring in a new head coach for them to face the kind of schedule they're going to deal with and all the change that comes with that? Or do you want to bring Sam back and have to deal with that schedule? I mean, those are answers to questions we don't have. We don't know. We don't know what would be better. I guess it would depend on the coach and how well he does in the portal and what he's able to bring with him and what they're doing on both sides of the ball, the caliber of player that takes the field. And then the same thing for Sam. Like, what caliber of player does he bring out of the portal? What how much better are they on both sides of the ball? Does he deserve to come back? And I'm going to tell you, my feelings would not be hurt if they went out and found somebody else as a defensive coordinator. However, I don't know, man. This is I don't know. Arkansas Traveler does kind of have a point here. If Sam had been sent walking after last year's Missouri debacle, then we'd at least have 1 year closer to a turnaround. That's not exactly wrong. I don't disagree with that. I don't know. So you don't think Bobby stays? Man, Terry, I don't have a crystal ball, man. I don't know. I have no clue. I don't know what I would say the odds are very low that Bobby would be back in any capacity whatsoever. However, maybe you can argue there's a shot at Barry Odom. You know, he doesn't bring his offense coordinator who runs the go-go offense at UNLV. We know that they have a prior relationship. He was hired on at UNLV for the offensive coordinator job until Bobby went to the A&M job. And even then, I don't know if that happens. I just don't know. Again, I don't have a crystal ball. I wish I did. It's a complicated. All of this is complicated. I can't believe how bad the defense has been this year. After defending Travis Williams as much as I have this year, to now feel like I really would not care. I couldn't. I'd be fine with him walking. I mean, and I hate to say that. And it's like, well, you're letting go of the rope because of one game. No, I'm letting go of the rope because definitely more than one game for sure. You're at the bottom of the totem pole in nearly every defensive category. You're at the bottom of the totem pole. You're not getting takeaways. You're not getting off the field. Yeah, you've been put in some rough spots this year, T. Will, and I feel for you. You've had an injury to Jalen Braxton, and it's really hurt your secondary. I get that. You were without Hudson Clark. I don't know what to make of that, whether that was a huge loss or not. He's definitely a super duper senior, and there's a benefit to having those guys available. But, I mean, would Hudson Clark start anywhere else in the SEC outside of maybe Mississippi State? You know, I mean, there's a reason, and I mean, no disrespect. I've been a big fan of Hudson Clark in what he did several years back, and I thought he earned his right to be on the field and gotten into plenty of heated debates over people about Hudson. I'm not saying Hudson's the biggest problem, but there's a reason why some of these guys are starting at Arkansas and have for a number of years, for more than a couple of years. There's a reason for that. They don't have the pieces yet. Now, I'll tell you, the Metcalfs, I'm a fan of the Metcalfs. I like them both a lot. Xavion Story at linebacker, Spence. I mean, we can go down the list, like these future linebackers, these guys, hopefully some of them come back next year. There's pieces there, right? The defensive line, there are pieces, but it's just not all been put together very well. And again, I also made the case about the NIL. You could say, well, who cares about NIL? Stop talking about it. Well, we also have to stop ignoring the fact that things are so bad. You've got your head coach talking about your blue light special. Shouldn't have said what he said, but he's not wrong, guys. He's not wrong. So we can't ignore the fact that they're out-talented against the likes of Ole Miss. Ole Miss. That's how bad things are. And to be fair, Ole Miss has got more talent than a lot of teams, even in the SEC. But then ask yourself why that is. So we can't ignore that fact either. But I'm also not going to tell you like that I don't understand why you're not giving it NIL. I get it. Times are tough, and it's really hard to support what's going on right now with the football program. I get it. Anywho, I'm gonna watch some college basketball. I'm gonna hang this thing up. I do appreciate you guys. We were live for longer than I thought we would be. Lashley is the next. The CJ the Don show. Lashley is as the next head coach. Every coach that either coached at Arkansas or played at Arkansas has been doing well as a head coach. Lashley for the hire. I think certain people have come around to that idea that Lashley should be the next guy up. Do I think it happens? I don't know. There's that SMU connection people struggle with. But yeah. All right. Make sure you guys hit the like button. Share the content. Subscribe if you haven't already. I appreciate everyone for stopping through in the middle of the storm, man. I really do appreciate you guys. And please be careful tonight. The storms are not over in Northwest Arkansas and Central Arkansas, I think, got hit as well. So be safe. Be careful. Appreciate everyone, even those of you who just come to hate. You know what? You're giving me views regardless. If you're arguing with people in chat, if you're coming at me in the comment section, guess what? I got your view anyways. I eat it up. I eat up your view. Even if you want to come argue with me, baby, bring it on. I'm chewing it up. Chewing up those views. Bring it. All right. I appreciate you guys. And I will see you. Well, I'll see you on the next one, right? When we go live with Blake Lovell on Wednesday. It's going to be early, 9 a.m. with Blake Lovell, 9 a.m. All right. Roll the Patreon names.